What is this? Well, I am practicing. How's it going, Jed Manuel? This is basically just me hanging out. And yeah, just doing that. Cafefe? Is this you? No, it's Adam. Basically, I'm just I got a little bit of extra time, so I'm doing a live stream right now. I'm just editing a video on cats. It's going to come out on Monday. It's going to be great. It's about cats. That's all I'm going to say about that one right now. Yeah. So how's it going, everybody? Let me just real quick get all the comments up on my iPad so I can read them easier. Cool. I guess it's not coming up here yet, but well, we'll pretend. Yeah, so I haven't really been practicing a lot recently. In fact, very little. So I'm taking this opportunity to kind of practice on camera, meaning just noodle honestly right now. And I can't see anybody's comments yet, which is kind of super annoying. But anyway, don't you like to be alone to practice? Yeah, but now I have everybody's judgmental eye on me practicing, so it's it's better that way. I can't see. Man, let me try this again. I'm trying to see people's. I know it's super interesting seeing me struggle with technology. I can't see anybody's comments yet on the YouTube. The YouTubes. Oh, there it is. The YouTube. Oh, now it's. Okay, now it's playing back. Where's chat? Live chat. There we go. I can see the chat. Hell yeah. Right. Cool. I feel so super technical. Oh my god, there's so many things. Adam, play some swing. Yeah, I might do that eventually. Yeah, for right now, I think I'm just gonna go through the arpeggios of C major. I mean, this is one of the things that I do when I have enough time, really, but I'm basically just gonna go through all of what we would call the tetrads, the seventh chords of C major. First ascending like this, then descending, same thing, descending downwards, then ascending, then descending, so alternating ascending and descending. Then the other way around, descending, then ascending. Yeah. So that's all in first inversion, root position. Then first inversion would go like this, so first ascending. Ascending downwards. And descending. Super interesting, I know, but you guys are the ones that are watching me do this. Cool, then alternating ascending, then descending. Yeah. Then alternating descending, ascending. Cool. And that's first inversion, then second inversion, all ascending. Oh, sorry. There we go. Cool. Then descending, ascending. So. Cool. And alternating ascending and descending. Yeah, it's a super fast descending. I'm gonna. Let me try that again. I was trying to read the comments as I was doing this. There we go. Cool. And then descending, ascending. Yeah. Super fascinating. So, yeah, I'm giving you guys a little bit of a glimpse. This is basically just an excuse for me to practice in front of people. Oh my god, 450 people are watching me practice. Yeah, it's kind of boring, but it's just a way of getting my fingers back into shape because I haven't been really practicing a whole lot recently, so this is an easy way of doing that. Yeah, third inversion. Thank you for reminding me. Otherwise, I should really do this. Okay, third inversion. Ascending. Cool. Descending. Da 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 da. Sorry, no, that wasn't it. Third inversion always fucks me up. Cool. Let me try that again. I'm just going to do that again because I need to practice it. Imagine that. If you're not good at something, you should practice it a little bit more. I think that's something that I might say, but actually, I don't think I've actually explicitly said that in my videos, but if you're bad at something, you probably should practice it. I'm bad at the descending third inversion. Cool. All right. Cool. Cool. That's C major. Now to go around the circle of fifths and hit all of them. I'm not going to do that for everybody. I'm going to try and make this a little bit more entertaining, but that's the idea. Just a way of, practicing. It's the bread and butter, guys. I never talk about this stuff when I do the videos, but I probably should because this is the stuff that actually matters. Learning about the tritone, it's interesting. Learning about vaporwave music theory, it's interesting. It doesn't really matter. Cool. Oh, let me ask some questions. Okay, or answer some questions. The lick, of course. I'm going to play it like... So pretty. I'm not pretty. Yeah, boy, hit that lick. Can you play That's the Way of the World by Earth, Wind & Fire? I can't. The only Earth, Wind & Fire song I know is September because I play it every freaking weekend. I'm going to play it tomorrow because I'm playing a wedding. Do you remember? Song. It's actually not a bad song, it's just I hate playing it. Higher Ground. The Stevie Wonder version, or the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Stevie Wonder version is in E flat because, as we know, Stevie Wonder is a blind musician and E flat is a black key thing on the keyboard. Versus Higher Ground by Red Hot Chili Peppers, where Flea uses his thumb to slap everything, so the key relationships is different, not because of any sort of musical reasons, it's just because bass is tuned with a low E string, and it's interesting. I find that combination, or that sort of that discrepancy between the different keys of Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground and Red Hot Chili Peppers' Higher Ground really interesting, just because of the nature of the instrument, they're in different keys. But slap licks, everybody. I'm not going to do Can't Stop. I'm not going to do that Davey 504 thing, as entertaining as that was. What do you look for in a drummer? I look for really steady, solid time, of course. That's just a given. I also look for a drummer who's very confident in what they play and very clear and clean in what they play. I also, even though this is somewhat paradoxical, I do like a drummer that occasionally will take risks because that's more exciting. Clean and clear and steady and taking risks often kind of like there's not always going to be the same sort of thing, but I do know a fair number of drummers who fit the bill in both ways, and it's just finding the right balance between those sort of two poles. If you're a good drummer, if you're a really talented drummer, you're going to be able to do both. It's just finding the right alchemy of both that I find interesting. Here for 30 seconds before Jocko is brought up. Smack my head. Well, Jocko is the Jimi Hendrix of bass. He's absolutely fascinating character, and I would actually really love, maybe at some point to do a video on him. I feel like there has been enough said about Jocko for me to not to weigh in or not, or I don't know. He has a lot of, there's a Netflix documentary and all sorts of stuff. I kind of want to shine light on some bass players who probably don't get as much credit in the mainstream bass community, and one person that I definitely will be making a video of is Charles Mingus. If you don't know who Charles Mingus is, man, this motherfucker is, oh god, he's so cool. He's just the best. Not just as a bass player, but just as a personality and composer and musician. He's a personal hero of mine. So I've been sort of working on the Mingus video for a second. Yeah, Mingus is awesome. Hands down the best bass line of all time, Haitian Fight Song. Just the best. So good. Cool. Thank you for the donation. Weird music stuff. What do you think about To Pimp a Butterfly? I think it's an awesome album. I mean, it's pretty dense, honestly. It's really long, and it took me, I don't think I've ever listened to it all the way through. I've definitely broken it up. Same thing with a couple of those albums that came out that year, like Kamasi Washington's The Epic. All kind of West Coast jazz influenced things. But To Pimp a Butterfly is a pretty amazing work of art, I think. I don't know enough about hip hop to really say, I'm not a huge hip hop fan, but at the same time, I am a fan of music, and what Kendrick Lamar did with To Pimp a Butterfly is pretty incredible. Definitely a landmark album, for sure. Any jazz standard, but all chords. I'll do that in 1 second. Do you ever run into people who trash Berklee? Yes, all the time. I do. I feel like I have a little bit more leverage to trash Berklee, quote unquote, just because I went there, but yeah, Berklee is an interesting thing, and I have very mixed feelings, but I think it was I would have mixed feelings about any music school, and I just happened to go to Berklee, and Berklee is unique in a lot of regards, but not so unique in others. So there's a lot I could say on Berklee, and I will say a lot of stuff on Berklee, but it is a fascinating microcosm and weird parallel to the music industry in a certain sense, but I don't know. Yeah, just because there's so many people in one spot, and there's nothing in Boston, no music scene really in Boston, to my knowledge, or at least when I went there, that, has, there's no music scene, so it just, Berklee is the Boston music scene. So, anyway. You touched on your TV performance recently. How did that come to be, and have you had that kind of exposure before? That was great. My friend Josh Bailey, whom I'm playing with tomorrow, he's a great drummer. He's in a few of my gig vlogs. He's the musical director of this pop artist named Erin Bowman, and she got her kind of break because she wrote this song for the Oscars. The song's called Good Time, Good Life. It's the song that I was playing there. And she got some sort of sync license, and they loved the song, and I was like, her normal bass player is a guy by the name of Charlie Rosen, and Charlie Rosen is this big hotshot young Broadway jazz orchestrator composer guy, and he's an awesome musician. I've played a gig with him actually, and Charlie couldn't do the gig, and Josh was like, "Oh, hey, can you fill in and can you play this gig with Erin Bowman?" I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And so that was my grand TV experience. It was really intense. It was really aggressively stressful. But anyway, yeah, cool. So play any jazz standard with chords. I'm going to play, I don't know, let's do Autumn Leaves. Ooh. Oh no, let's do Black Orpheus. I just started playing Black Orpheus instead of Autumn Leaves. I forget how to play it. Cool. That's Autumn Leaves, or not Autumn Leaves. Fuck. What did I just say? Black Orpheus. James Lightbody writes, the irony here. I might eventually disable Super Chat, but I do want, people have asked me of ways of donating to the channel besides Patreon, and Super Chat might as well be one of those ways. Pay to play thoughts. James Lightbody writes as a Super Chat, which is irony, maybe. Pay to play in terms of like local bands playing at a venue and paying in order to play at that venue. I find a pretty despicable practice, honestly. I understand why, because honestly there's so many bands and it's just simple economics, supply and demand. There's not that much demand for local bands, amateur local bands, and there's a ton of supply, so people can get away with pay for play, which is basically you have to pay or buy tickets in order to play at a certain venue. And I think it's just incredibly just immoral, but it makes sense economically, like on a logical level. That's what it's going to be. So for a young band starting out, like the question is, do you actually do this? Do you go into this sort of thing? And I don't know, like maybe not, maybe yes. I did one of those sorts of things in high school, and it was left a sour taste in my mouth, and I haven't really done anything like that since then. But pay to play is kind of a reality in a lot of smaller markets, and it is, like I said, amoral, but I understand why it exists. Just there's so many people out there. There's such a glut of artists looking to play. So TJ, thank you so much for the donation, by the way. He writes, thank you for your videos. Anyway, that's awesome. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, well, thank you for everybody for watching. If you're just joining me right now, I'm just noodling and playing, maybe taking a few requests. I don't know. There's so many questions. I'm kind of just picking and choosing and trying to get to all the questions and all that stuff. But it seems like there's a lot of requests for Darude Sandstorm. Such a stupid thing. I'm glad it's a meme though. Maybe it's not used as much as other memes though. Okay, play something in G half sharp major. G half sharp. All right. That was miserable. That was G half sharp major. so I just try and downtune a little bit. What is the coolest effect pedal? The effect pedal that I tell everybody to get if you're a bass player is the OC2. It's just the coolest bass pedal. I have it around, but it's packed deep in my closet right now. The OC2 basically is a means of turning this into kind of a synthy bass sort of thing, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome. There's another thing, Tim LaFave, the amazing bass player, has a signature pedal with 3-leaf audio called the Octaver, and it's kind of like a better version of the Boss OC2. I definitely will use that from time to time, or when I get my hands on one of those, I'll use that. But yeah, the OC2 is definitely the best. Joe Dart is a god. Definitely agree with that. Thoughts on drum corps? That's something that a lot of people have been asking me about recently. I haven't really checked out a whole lot of drum corps stuff. The stuff I have checked out, at least it seems like in the past 5 years, there's been this crazy explosion of like tournaments, and I think there's like a reality TV show coming to some like channel involving drum corps things. Yeah, it's cool. I haven't really checked out enough to like really say what my thoughts are, but I think that the technical abilities are pretty insane. Dodger McCall writes, thoughts, advice on self-teaching. I think that it's possible, but you have to be incredibly savvy now. I mean, I think it's actually almost easier. It was easier 10 years ago in a sense because there wasn't as much stuff, and it's hard to figure out exactly what stuff to look at because there's such a glut of information out there on the internet. My channel is not a great channel to teach yourself from. It's a good channel maybe to get inspiration, but like I never really was trying to like give a course on how to like learn how to play bass. There are so many resources out there though that definitely give you that ability. So I mean, my advice is just try not to get too discouraged if you don't know where to go. Is it sacrilegious to play bass with a pick? Let me find my pick. Oh, yeah, here's a pick. It's a camo pick. I don't know why it's a camo pick. Not at all. Suck with a pick, but if you want that sound, it's a very cool sound, especially like just to get more aggressive sort of sound, it works. And there's this one Sungazer tune I use a pick on pretty heavily called Ostinato, and the reason why I use a pick on it is just I really wanted to get kind of like a guitar-esque kind of sound, like seconds since I played it, but just getting a little bit more of like an aggressive sort of sound, you can definitely use the pick for. Beyond a couple things, the cat's running around. Beyond a couple things though, I don't use it all that often. So, cool. So cool. Could you play a solo for Beastly? Such a fun song to solo to. I don't know what Beastly is. I will definitely check that out. Is that a Wolfpack tune? I have a feeling that's a Wolfpack tune. It sounds like a Wolfpack tune. Beastly. No, hold on. Damn it. Damn it. Can you see the cat, maybe? No? Cat. So when I have an indoor cat, they just decide to run around occasionally. Just like, they just sprint from like side to side. Yeah, I don't know what the song Beastly is. I'm sorry. Seems like a Wolfpack tune. Yeah. I'll definitely check that out. Here, I'll just start playing to it. Here. That's fun. Yeah, so that's my Beastly solo. Cool. Do you have any informal or formal training in linguistics since you've analogized music to language so much? No, just an interest in it. I mean, honestly, Victor Wooten is like a huge influence on a lot of the stuff that I've done. And just Victor Wooten, that whole like language to music analogy is pretty powerful. And you know, a lot of the things that he says, you know, he definitely isn't coming from like a scholarly background. The same thing, I'm not coming from a scholarly background in linguistics, but a lot of things he says just sort of made sense to me. And you know, there's a lot of people who talk about this language analogy. So yeah, like no formal background in linguistics, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. Cherokee, shit. A lot of Cherokee people. Let me get a backing track to Cherokee, maybe. Cherokee. Cherokee. Backing track. It's been a second since I played it, so if I remember how to play it. What's up? Lester. Okay. It's been a second, guys, since I've done anything at this tempo. Shit. God, I don't have any chops left. Yeah, that was a mistake to do Cherokee. Tune. Play along to a J Dilla beat. Yeah, I might do that later. Tune. Okay. Tune the bass. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. So many questions. Okay. Yes, I hear you. Tune. I know. Great. Congratulations, everybody. You heard me playing with a bass that was out of tune. It's fantastic. Any tips on self-promotion? Release quality stuff. If you have quality things for people to check out, maybe I would worry more about having just really awesome things and maybe release those awesome things regularly rather than worrying too much about self-promotion, like saying like, hey, check this stuff out. Post regularly on social media, of course, but just if you get in the habit of posting really cool things, usually people will come. Don't get discouraged in the beginning. It's easy to get discouraged in the beginning because nobody will care in the beginning. But if you do things regular enough, whatever you're doing will get better. And yeah, that's the goal here. Yes, Jocko. I'm going to copy that other dude and ask how you're approaching Cherokee musically. Thinking different key centers, honestly. It's pretty much B flat in the beginning. Boom, 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 ba, dun. That's tona size is E flat, then it's E flat minor, A flat. So I think in terms of chords usually, just chords and chord progressions rather than scales. It's easy to think, or it's easier to think in terms of scales and chord progressions, but it normally gives a better sort of result to do. Thinking about chords and arpeggios, I think. A lot of this is technical stuff that I haven't really weighed in on yet in official videos, but maybe you can, maybe those are some things that you can think about, I guess, yeah. What do you think about the tendency of some musicians to block themselves into one genre? I'm a jazz musician, I don't play pop. I think those are the musicians that are going to die out and not have successful careers. Yeah, they're not going to go very far. Period, really. You think people obsess over Collier too much? Jacob Collier is a singular talent, and it's hard not to see what he does and just like get excited. I think the best that Collier has to offer is in the future. Let me just put it that way. I think the best is yet to come. But it's interesting to see where he'll go with that, so I don't know. What do you think about Philip Glass and minimalism? I think Philip Glass is kind of boring, but minimalism is interesting. I mean, Philip Glass takes, I don't know, something about him that I just don't like. Steve Reich, I dig a lot more. Very curious on what your thoughts is why minimalist compositions by Glass, Reich, Riley, Adams, etc. are so appealing. All seem to be rather popular for classical artists and resonate with people. They have the sounds are more relevant to what people listen to. I mean, honestly, and there's something a little bit more relevant to our daily lives, the mechanistic repetition of notes. They call it pulsative music, just getting into a zone and feeling a groove, basically. It's all groove music, the same way that, like, hip-hop is groove music, just electronic music is groove music, minimalism is groove music to the same extent, and so there's an immediate connection to the music that I feel people can make that you can't normally get. From Webern or Stravinsky, maybe Stravinsky, I don't know, but Schoenberg or some of the more obtuse 12-tone serialists. Anyway, big fan of your content. The interview you did with Rick Beato brought me to your channel. Any workflow tips when voicing 5-part harmonies? 5-part harmonies are a little bit trickier. They're generally thinking, and I mean, I can only do 4-part harmonies on the bass. Yeah, let's see. No, my piano's not connected right now. Well, the way that we think about, and I did a video on this called harmonizing sax solo. The way that you generally think about coming up with some sort of harmony is thinking about the normal 7th chord, root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. And you build down from, rather paradoxically, not the root, but you build down from the top note of the voicing. So say your top note of the voicing in a C major 7 is a G. If you're going to create and really focus on like a typical way we would call it mechanical voicing, you would think, okay, G is the 5th, so below the 5th is a 3rd, below the 3rd is a root, and below the root is a 7th. Now, this is a C major 7th. Kind of like the sound of that, actually, but it's not very practical whatsoever. So what we typically do with this, at least on bass and guitar, is we do something called drop 2. It's where we take the second note from the top, drop 2 voicing, and we take that second note and we drop it down an octave like this. So E goes down to this E down here. And so what that means is that now we have this voicing which goes G, C, B, if we're going in order, E, but to revoice this B, we would place this B all the way up here, and then we would get this beautiful, nice voicing. Oh, yeah. Ooh. It's a little bit more practical. Now on bass, voicings like this just are a little bit too muddy, but on guitar they're great. Drop 2 voicings. Now one of the things in order to add some harmony, to add like color to this, is that we start replacing the root and the fifth with their corresponding tensions. So the fifth might be changed from the 5th to the 13th or the 6th, and that would sound like this. Again, nothing is remotely practical on bass, but this is what it would sound like. And if you're imagining like a low C root, again, not practical on bass, but this is for guitar. It's a lot more practical. Another thing that you can do is replace the root with the second, and then all of a sudden the voicing looks and sounds like this. There's a bunch of different examples of how you might approach this, but the whole thing is called drop 2, and a good example or a good workbook for this is something called Modern Jazz Voicings by Ken Polig, and I like that book a lot, so you can definitely check that out. Armando's Roomba. I don't know that, but it's a Chick Corea tune. Amy Nolte just posted a version of Armando's Roomba in Jam of the Week. Check that out. It's nice. Let's talk string numbers. Why do you use a 5 or 6 string bass? Don't you feel you're limiting yourself by only using a 4 string? I do occasionally want a 5 string bass just because there's certain like low notes there, but beyond some of the low notes, which are just necessary for a lot of pop music, and like just a lot of different kinds of music, the super low notes, metal music, all sorts of things, salsa. No, not really. I mean, I also think limitations are kind of nice. Just they really force you to think about what you want to do with the thing that you're given. I used to play a 7-string bass, and in fact, the very first video on my channel is me playing the Maple Leaf Rag on a 7-string bass. And I could play a lot of things, but you know, I kind of just grew to focusing in on just this a little bit more. And you know, I find with some exceptions, the more strings, the more lost I feel people are in their conception of the music for bass guitar. Anything more than 6 strings, there are very few people I know who can like really make an instrument with more than 6 strings like really work musically for me. One of the only people, honestly, is there's a producer by the name of Jonathan Stein. He's an electronic music producer, but he also plays 7-string bass beautifully. But even still, you know, I feel like he could just be playing guitar and it would do the same sort of thing as what he does on 7-string bass. So, you know, man, I just like the limitations a little bit more. Nutville. I don't know Nutville. So many people are just saying Nutville. The chicken. Cool. I can do the chicken. It's the chicken. Can you demonstrate other slapping techniques using other fingers besides the thumb? I'm really not a slapping person, but one thing that they talk about, or at least I think who talks about it? John Entwistle, his typewriter technique. Also Ryan Martini, and there's a bunch of people who think about slapping with the index finger, like this sort of, that sort of idea. I like that idea. Brian Beller calls that the chime, and it's a way of like sort of imitating the pick. Well, that's not a pick. Where's my pick? It's a way of imitating the sound of a pick with your fingers, kind of like a index finger slap. So it just has a little bit more of an aggressive sound than if you were to pluck it like this. Can't really see it. There we go. It's just like attacking the string a little bit more aggressively and letting your index finger sort of rebound off of it. Yeah. Why do you prefer a P bass over a J bass? I just do. There's something about it. I don't know. There's like, for that P versus J, it just comes down to personal preference. Adam, do you play or have you any thoughts on rhythm video games? Yeah, so I haven't really played any. I mean, beyond like I guess Dance Dance Revolution in my youth, like fail at Dance DDR. Um, there's this game Osu, OSU exclamation point. I found kind of interesting. I just started looking up. I didn't get a chance to play it. I found that interesting. What was really fascinating is on my Which Music is the Fastest video, there was a bunch of Osu players or people familiar with this rhythm game community who are saying, that's not fast, I can play at 400 beats per minute or whatever on Osu, and the greatest Osu champions can do all this stuff. And I thought that was like really weird because they're not playing anywhere close to the inter-onset intervals of a really trained professional musician. Anywhere remotely close, but it's just, I guess, because of the nature of the game where they say that it's a certain beats per minute that people feel like, oh, they can do this. Like, yeah, I guess eighth notes at 400 beats per minute, they're getting close to that, and that's great, but eighth notes at 400 beats per minute, still isn't anywhere close to what some of these pretty insane, and just straight eighth notes, I guess, what George Colias or, like, I guess the band Infant Annihilator or any of these other bands are doing, a lot, so, but I guess, everybody has to feel superior to another person, I guess, and, Anyway, it's interesting. It's a really interesting game. I think it's really fascinating, this whole, like, subculture that's grown out of it, but, yeah. It's not music for sure. Were you nervous when you auditioned for college? Oh, I was incredibly nervous. Very, very nervous, and it's a pretty nerve-wracking thing to audition. It's just not it's not a very natural sort of environment because you have like a panel of people and they're judging you, and I've been recently more on the other side of auditions, like auditioning people, and it's an interesting sort of thing because like when you're on the other side, you know pretty quickly whether or not somebody is right for the school or the job or anything like that. It's almost a dehumanizing thing, but it's a necessity. Yeah, I was very nervous, and if I had to audition again, I would be extremely nervous also. But there's beyond just like breathing and trying to be as prepared as you possibly can. There's really nothing else that you can do. So, rather have a guitarist or pianist? Probably a pianist. I mean, if both of them. I mean, it really depends on the style. I thought you were talking about jazz, but it really depends on the style. A good guitarist or a good pianist, both are awesome. And giant steps. Okay. Let's attempt giant steps. Here we go, everybody. Fuck. This is terrible. This is terrifying. Giant steps fast. Should I do it? No. Should I do it? Let's see how fast this is. I'm gonna fail miserably. Oh shit. Shit. No. There we go. No, I'm sucking. Wow! It's giant steps, everybody. God. There's a reason why I don't archive these Q&As. You're just seeing it, and then that's it. It's gone. It's gone into the ether. It's gone into the ether. God! So much better when I'm just playing pop music. No shame in the shed. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really kind of sad, but I'm taking requests. I'm not really shedding right now. If I was really shedding, I'd be like, okay, just playing, I would be doing what I was doing at the earlier start of this, the session, which is playing the arpeggios up and down. I feel so fucking defeated. Giant steps, we better start with baby steps. Alright. Nobody make fun of me. Nobody make fun of me on my shit. You should archive these. I'm not. Fuck. Maybe. I don't know. You should do a video with Andrew Huang. One might be coming. I'm going to be on a panel with him, I think, pretty soon. That's going to be fun. Not pretty soon. It's going to be in the fall sometime, but... I'd love to hear you play some keyboard. I play as a hobby, and I'm seriously thinking of signing up for jazz lessons. Give me 1 second, guys. I can turn on the keyboard. I mean, I don't play... where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. I don't play keyboard that well. I mean... Fascinating stuff, I know. Yeah, no, I play what we would call in the business arranger's piano. Arranger's piano means enough to arrange a song, and that's about it. But this is my piano. Black MIDI or GTFO. I'm not a black man. Oh yeah. I'm going to mute that track. This is for the video. By the way, you're getting a sneak peek, but this is for the video that's coming out on Monday. Just don't even worry about what that is, but it's coming out on Monday. It's so stupid. Why did I make this video? Why did I make this video? It's so stupid. Devin Collins, going into the studio next month to record some originals, first time recording my own songs professionally. Any advice for studio sessions? First of all, you share the name Devin Collins with a pretty incredible drummer. Drummer for a band called Elliot Moss. Just a really awesome guy. Went to Berkeley with me. Fantastic drummer. But advice for going into the studio: come in super prepared, like as prepared as you possibly can be, and be ready to accept whatever flaws in your playing. Don't strive. I mean, strive for perfection, but don't strive for don't get hung up on details, because you're gonna have to learn to move on. There's a certain zen quality. There's a certain quality whenever you're in the studio of just when you go for the first time, it's gonna feel like, oh my god, I have to do this. I have to get it right, and for certain things and just the nature of the game, it's you kind of have to just learn to let it go and let it be what it is, but within reason. Attention to detail is important. But yeah. All right. Somebody just asked. I know this is. Yeah. Somebody just asked for me to play the lick in 12 keys, but with this cat sound effect. I'm gonna do it in 1 key, and we'll be done with it in 1 key. Oh, come on, cat. Oh. Whoa. What's going on here? Why is it doing that? Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Alright, here's the lick with the cat sound effect. Here's the lick with the cat sound effect harmonized. The cat's cleaning itself in the background. I love that. That's hilarious. Oh, what happened there? Cat in background, I know. You know Eric Andre? He was a bass major at Berkeley. No, he went before me, or yeah, before me. I came after him. Come on, why you do this? Why you do this? Whiplash as meowed by cats. Geez, so many. Save that for a Q&A on April Fools. Yeah, that probably will happen. Originally I was gonna do like an all cat themed video for April Fools, but then it turned into my all-star meme, all-star but it's the red of spring. But I guess I'm kind of, because I'm about to hit 200,000 subscribers on Monday, I think is when it's scheduled. I'm doing a cat video for that. And not scheduled, but when I'm expecting to hit 200,000 subscribers. Any thoughts on V-neck t-shirts? I mean, I'm wearing one, I guess. The lick using the cat tune, haha. If you get married, will you play your own wedding? Fuck no. Fuck no. Absolutely not. I mean, I'll play music at my wedding for sure, but I now associate like playing music at weddings with just working. I mean, it's fun as hell, but I want to fucking relax. Somebody else can play the music. Somebody else will play the music at my wedding. I'm going to hang out and get drunk. When did you realize music was important? It kind of always, because I grew up in a kind of a musical household. There's always a big importance placed on music, but also kind of a practical importance. Like, music is just something you kind of did. In terms of like how I knew music would affect me, you know, I guess there's a couple things. I did mention this masterclass with Dave Brubeck and Christian McBride in a recent Q&A, but that masterclass really changed my life, and that was the one moment where I can say I want to do this. This is the thing that I want to do for a living. It was so transformative, because just to see Dave Brubeck and Charles Mingus play together was just like nothing you could really describe to somebody who had really never seen that sort of thing before, pre-YouTube era, and never really been that close to something. Just like these two masters of jazz, just absolute masters of the craft, just having so much fun too. It's just like this transcendent experience that they were just like having fun on stage, playing like, I don't know, Stella by Starlight. I don't know, they're just calling jazz standards and they're just playing through it and just like joking back and forth and just playing the most delicate, amazing, beautiful chord progressions, but like having fun with it. And like, you know, they weren't quoting the lick back at back and forth between one another, but you know, there are jokey sorts of things that musicians do with one another, having fun with rhythm, just having fun. And I was just like, this is so cool. This is just like, I just want to do this all the time. The equivalent of what I was just doing right there with the cat piano. Maybe a little bit more refined than that, but yeah. So that's, I guess, when I found music to be important. Will you hire your normal group to play your wedding? Hopefully. Hopefully I'll get a discount. It's very expensive. Very, very expensive band. But, you know, we're worth it. I think we're worth it. Play some Jamiroquai, please. I really don't know any Jamiroquai. Oh, no, I do know Jamiroquai. Fantastic. Yeah. So that's Jamiroquai. Hey, what do you think about Ed Sheeran's composition? I mean, I think it's you know, I'm not a fan of. Wouldn't put it on. I mean, I wouldn't press play on the Spotify playlist to hear Ed Sheeran, but he's a, you know, pop musician who knows his craft for sure. Will you be covering PPAP on a future gig? Maybe. Probably not, though. By the way, I really dig your videos, man. Play the Mind. They're really cool. I'd like to talk about like doing something. That'd be really fun to put together. I'm really curious where you get all that stuff for your channel. Do you like Hozier? They're cool, I guess. When do you discover jazz? Probably around the same time that masterclass. Like I just started studying jazz with my private teacher. I didn't really know a whole lot about it, and I went to that class and I was like, oh my god, this is what jazz is? It's not like some boring background music. It's like this fun, playful, sort of cheeky sort of thing that can also be really beautiful and inspiring. That's cool. So, cover 4 minutes and 33 seconds by John Cage. That's going to be my next live stream. God, I would love to do that. That'd be really funny. Sungazer, mate, when will we will have new stuff? God, you know, with the grind of like making these YouTube videos, and since I'm the one who like produces all the Sungazer stuff, it's hard to find like time to like really work on it. Like, eventually there will be new Sungazer. I mean, if you're interested in Sungazer things that aren't on that Sungazer album, go over to my buddy Sean Crowder's YouTube channel, and he has like there's like a couple, I guess, bonus tracks of Sungazer that never were released as like album cuts, and they will be released at some point. But there's like 2 or 3 of those songs that we released that are, I think, pretty cool. Yeah, there's another one that's like half finished. Anyway, there's technically enough for an album, but you know, if I'm the one that's doing all the production, it's like it's hard, you know. Yeah. Hey Adam, I'm a guitarist who switched to bass. How do I fix my finger technique? How do I play fast finger notes? Here's an example of my technique. I will go to where you are. Interesting. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this together, everybody. Let's critique Joe Collins. So this guy has written in, and he wants us to critique his technique. Hold on. I know this isn't what you thought when you sent me that link right there, but I think this is going to be kind of fun. So there's a couple things actually. Let's pause right here. There's a couple things that I want to say that I really dig about your technique right now. The first thing is that if you take a look, can we zoom in? No, we can't zoom in. The first thing is if we take a look at your left hand, the wrist is completely straight and looks fairly relaxed. You have really long fingers, which is cool. Long fingers is usually a good thing. I kind of have medium, kind of stubby fingers, so I always have to kind of like be worried about that. The right hand technique, your right hand technique is interesting, but I wouldn't say that this is typically how a bass player would play bass. Because what you're doing right now is you're using something called a free stroke, which is common on guitar but not on bass, where your thumb is kind of like going through the string but like not hitting the string below. So if I was to show you an example of what you're kind of doing this, where you're plucking, but the term plucking is a misnomer for when you're playing bass. It's actually kind of, you're pushing. You should be thinking of, when you're playing bass, you should be thinking of pushing the string down so that your thumb is resting on the string below, or whatever finger that you're playing. So if I'm doing this, I'm pressing down, that's a rest stroke. But also, kind of in the opposite direction, if I'm plucking, this is a rest stroke, but I'm resting now on the string above versus a string below. It doesn't really matter what string it is, whether it's below or above. It's just so that you're resting on the string, and it's called a rest stroke. And bass players generally play with rest strokes. Guitar players, especially if you're coming from a classical background, but also any other kind of guitar playing, generally play with free strokes. You can usually play a little bit faster on guitar, but for bass, in order to get the right sort of tone out of the bass, you kind of want to have a rest stroke. So I think that's my main critique of your technique, just on first glance. So yeah, one thing that I do want to mention here is down here in the lower positions. Come on. Get it, like, there we go. So down here, you can start see a little bit more of the bend in the wrist, which is something that you kind of generally want to avoid. The way that you get rid of this is start pointing your thumb on the back of the neck more towards the headstock. So if I'm playing on the bass right here, if I'm playing like here down in the lower positions, you can see there's a lot of bend in the wrist. But the way to get rid of the bend is to flip the thumb a little bit more this way. And you can see what happens is this part of the hand kind of raises up. And the thumb, as long as it's pointed more towards the headstock, you'll get a lot more of the wrist avoidance. You'll avoid the wrist being bent. Yeah, there we go. So I hope that was interesting for you. And let me go back to find... actually, give me 1 second, guys, because I, of course, lost... In doing that, I lost where all of my things were. Okay. YouTube link. Oh, shut the fuck up. Here's the live chat. Okay. Have you seen the video How to Imitate a Whole Lot of Hollywood Film Music in 4 Easy Steps? It describes various pairs of chords that produce different moods, protagonists, outer space. Any thoughts? I have seen that video, actually. There's a really interesting video. It's called How to Imitate a Whole Lot of Hollywood Film Music in 4 Easy Steps. It's interesting because it kind of develops this alternative music theory that I would never use because it kind of simplifies things to the point where you can't use the terminology that he creates for anything else besides this one specific effect. But the way that the guy who made this video did it is pretty interesting because he's trying to create this music theory for people who know absolutely nothing. And it's interesting, and it does its job in that way. But it's also like... it might be a little bit too simplistic the way he explains it, but the content is great because he does sort of correlate particular moods with particular kinds of chord pairings. There definitely are particular kinds of moods with different kinds of chord pairings. For example, let's come up with like... There are definitely different moods depending on if you have a cat piano. That was really funny. Let me turn the cat sounds off. Okay, so like 1 major going to flat 6 minor, or flat 6 major. So like... It's kind of like a heroic sort of thing. It's in like Superman theme or whatever. There's also like 1 minor going to 4 major. It's sort of like a kind of a carefree sort of sound, like... And with the cats, it would sound like this. Why did I do that? So stupid. Yeah. Godly Mao. Yeah, there's an entire video coming, guys. Don't worry. It's going to be great. It's going to be all about cats. Play Lingus by Snarky Puppy. I don't know Lingus by Snarky Puppy. I'm sorry, man. Some of the times when I get requests, I feel bad that I can't play them. But most of the time, my requests aren't things like Amy Nolte gets, which is like, play some standard. I was like, oh, okay, I can play a standard. It's like, play some god-awful, not god-awful, but ridiculously complicated Blick by Periphery or something like that. Or Dream Theater, or I don't know. Mozart. Well, I don't know about Mozart, but I can play you Mozart. Einklein Nacht music. Oh, I'm really proud of myself for that one. I'm going to kill myself, Adam. It's okay. My puns are pretty hilarious. Rip headphones. That's almost a good enough thing to end the stream on. I think I'm going to end the stream. Sorry if you haven't gotten your question answered. There are just so many questions, but I hope you've enjoyed this live stream, everybody. Stay tuned for this Monday because I have a video on something called the cat piano. If you'd like to research the cat piano, definitely just read the Wikipedia article on the cat piano. It's a really weird thing. I'm not really quite sure why I made a video on it, but it's kind of a shit post, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, so until next time, everybody. Orientation? Okay. Until next time, everybody. Peace.